Hello everybody, welcome back to meetings! Why, Mustaphalis? Why? I never wanted to do meetings! What if they're moving meetings? Oh, you make everything fun, Mustaphalis. Make sure you kill them all! I will for you. So yeah, we're waiting for Penis Head and this guy. It's the Chief of the Armed Forces and the Minister of Defense. I don't think they totally like each other. Upon invitation, Iosif Lancia, dickhead right here, along with 3 high-ranking officers from the Ministry of Defense, walked into the room. One of the men was none other than General Kruger, the Chief of the Armed Forces. Iosif made his way towards the table while the others stood by the door. Oh, Mr. President! Iosif, welcome. It is good to have you here. Let's be polite. We can show manners, can't we? I brought General Kruger with me due to the escalation on our borders. General Kruger stepped forward and saluted. He had a strong jaw with sharp cheekbones. Don't poke me with those, brosif. His tall stature, uniform, and medals, combined with his deep and intense stare, made him look threatening. I think it makes him look like a creep if he's just staring at you. He's probably nervous, you know, or he's judging me. Are you judging me? He was in his 70s, yet he had a bulky body that was the result of his commando training. Yes, our 70-year-old commando squad. You know, whatever, Rumsfeld, what is that fucking country to the north of us? Rumsylvania, whatever. They're gonna be so scared when they see the oldies emerge from the water, ready to beat them up, our commando elite. Not only was he the second most decorated officer in Sordland, he was also the longest serving. I'm gonna return the salute. I am the commanding officer, am I not? I mean, I don't know the whole political structure. If it's like America, I'm the commander-in-chief. I'm technically the top of the military, so I will return the salute. He smiled at the gesture and bowed his head in respect. Iosif tapped his foot impatiently. He seemed uneasy with the presence of another high-ranking officer in the room. Does he feel awkward that they have the same uniform on? It's the military! Y'all wear basically the same outfit. Gentlemen, thanks for coming to this significant gathering. Let us begin. Iosif and Valken took their seats at the table, while the rest of the officers stood by the door. Can we get them some chairs? Oh, Mr. President, the situation at the western and northern borders towards Ramsberg is very tense. We're observing deployments of divisions closer to our border. That is worrisome. There it is, Ramsberg, exactly what I said. Ramsberg has been acting increasingly expansionistic in the past decades and also interfered in Agnolia. But now they've turned their sights on us. Can I blame them? I'm beautiful. Look at me. Look at my baldness. This concerns me. You know what? What is your current strategy? Let's not mince words. Patrolling close to the borders with our border force and keeping Army Reserve divisions near. How about fortified positions? It seems like they want to increase the pressure, both externally and internally. So the time I ate nachos. How did that do both? I had gas, but I kept eating nachos. They were so hungry. Pressure in and pressure out. It only ends one way. Oh, that sounds like a shitty situation. We don't want our nation in that situation. Mr. President, if I may. Please, General, go on. Please, General. The picture has become clearer. The latest information from the interior about the weapons caches, and now there is an active build-up close to our borders. I know, that's what the, Penis Head said. What is his name, Lancia? I don't know. The entire situation was analyzed by our general staff, and our prediction is a future territorial incursion by Rumberg. Yeah, okay, so you predict they're gonna attack. I just had Lilius in here. Everybody's predicting all these horrible things. Can you predict something nice for me? I want to say, no, I'm not going to say, let them come, give them hell. No, because those are famous last words. I'm not going to say the threat is exaggerated, because this is the only information I have. I have complete trust in the general staff for the moment. We will not let you down, Mr. President. The general staff is composed of the smartest military individuals. Good. I require an increase in the military budget to enlist more soldiers. Last episode, multiple motherfuckers were like, we need some money for our budgets. And I'm like, go make your own money. Go figure a way. This guy comes in and is like, I need some money. And I'm going to say yes. Yes, we need to grow this military. We need to defend our borders. We need to pump some money into the economy. This is good for a short-term economic infusion. Only then can we stand strong against our enemies. The enlarged armed forces will hold them at bay. Vulcan is right. We do need an increase in the military budget. Although we don't see eye to eye on exactly how to spend the budget, that much we can agree on. I have my concerns about Rumberg, too. We need strong allies to withstand such a superior power. They are our nemesis. Oh, that's an understatement. Times are changing and war is coming, Mr. President. Whether we like it or not, we must be prepared. Don't forget that during the election, you promised to focus on... Why would I forget that? I was going to give you money, but now I'm going to be a toddler and like, no. I'm a petulant teenager. No. Maybe I won't. I decide what I do. You don't tell me what to do. I know my promises. Stop being a dick. Are you saying that because of my head? No. Penis head. I expect that word to be kept for the defense of our nation. Of course I'm going to keep my word dingus. Look, I haven't spent any of my money yet. I'm a man of my word, Iosif. Oh, of course you are. That's why I follow you, Mr. President. You do it because you get paid, dingus. The only way we can guarantee national survival is through a more capable military force against Rumberg. Our country hasn't fallen to any invading force for 200 years. You cannot let that happen, Mr. President. Probably because we're too busy having civil wars, so nobody wants to enter this clusterfuck of a nation. We should find regional allies like Falkland or Lesbia to deter Rumberg. There are several options on the table. Shit. Alright, there are multiple things we can do. We could say yes, those options. I think the best thing is to throw this out. Our country will not be attacked if we are allied with a superpower. End of story. If we ally with Ado, we are not going to get attacked by Rumberg. Rumberg's nothing compared to Ado. Oh, one shudders at the sacrifices they would require us to make. What, we might have to be a decent democratic nation? Sure. Yes, but what is the difference between losing your independence to one or the other? In one, we still have a country where we can have mostly our own rules as long as we stay democratic and shit. Everyone fell silent when the soldier entered the room and let Iosif Lancia know that a call had come through from the ministry. Who's calling? Hopefully it's his wife. Oh, excuse me, Mr. President. See you, Lancia. Iosif left the room to answer. Well, he's out. I'm going to look at this. Our economic growth projection is still bad. Let's quit looking at that. A few minutes later, he entered the room again. His expression had changed. Oh, Mr. President, there's been a Rumbergian military activity close to the Narble border. I just spoke with a local commander. Uh-oh, our neighbor Narble is threatened? Vulcan, oh, we should go to the ministry and get further updates from our branches. Understood. Raising military readiness is the first call to action. If there is truly an extraordinary attempt, we will relay it to you immediately and wait for further orders, Mr. President. Thanks. I'm going to tell them this. So far, I have been very cool, but I am the boss, and so I am going to give an order. Remain calm, gentlemen. Make sure not to escalate things. Nobody wants a war. Oh, we'll exercise the utmost caution, Mr. President. Hail, Sordland! Hail! They saluted and left the room. That shit was weird. Is it just me? Or was that shit weird at the end? Rumberg was already testing us, and the reports from the interior indicated interference inside our borders. Communists, nationalists, Blutish rebels, Rumberg expansionism. What was next? I think his dinner with the family is next. Sordland has always been a key place in the chessboard of the global rivalry between Arcasia and the United Cortana. Once again, Arcasia is like America, United Cortana, USSR. But in the recent years, there was no such aggression from Rumberg. Not at these levels, at least. Something changed. They became dicks. All it takes is one tiny spark to start the flames of war. The phone rang. Ding-a-ling-ding. Rumsberg had decided to close their consulate in Lockhaven. Whatever. I didn't even want them in my country anyway. Ugh. So we got a bunch of new updates. Okay, some ADO news. Arcasia develops the first ICBM, an intercontinental ballistic missile. Recent intelligence briefings have spotlighted Arcasia's military progress, underscoring the successful completion of a Missile 4, an intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, of significant power and range. They're going to be able to nuke the commies now across an ocean. The Missile 4, with its estimated strike range spanning thousands of kilometers, represents a major leap in Arcasian military technology. Its precision targeting system allows for the destruction of targets at a long distance, thereby escalating the potential threat Arcasia poses to territories well beyond the boundaries of the Western Mercopa. I think that's their continent, like North America, or the Western Hemisphere, or whatever. Good. If we ally with them, that's great. If we don't, then it doesn't really affect us. Maybe missiles will shoot over us. Let's get back to our country. Alright, we still got dinner with the family, but I better read some more reports before then. Rise of Golcondizium in rural areas of Bergia. There are too many isms. Golcondizium, a minor religious branch of Werherist Nerdy, has gained a significant following in the Suzerain, and why would I care? So they got a new god or a new ritual or something. Who cares? It's mainly because of limits to education and employment opportunities. The sect offers a sense of community, purpose, and salvation through strict adherence to its doctrines. The Blutish Freedom Front and foreign proselytizers are suspected to be behind the sudden increase in Galkandism. So you're saying the religion or the political rebels are trying to use that to recruit people in a backdoor way? I don't really care. Like, whatever, man. What about in Vensword? United Contana Consulate helped protesters. Around midnight, Red Youth protesters clashed with young swords at the Vensword city center, resulting in many injuries. The counter-protesters were cornered in front of the United Contana Consulate after they were pushed back by the police. The diplomatic mission opened its doors, and Red Youth members escaped inside. Okay, that's not as bad as the headline sounded. They let these guys seek refuge, right? The police are still waiting outside the building for the return of Red Youth members. I'm not gonna sweat that. Whatever, man. Shit happens. They'll come out sooner or later. So what have we learned situation-wise? Nationwide revolt? The country is currently facing widespread violent protests as a result of recent events? That's not good. It's becoming more tense. Ooh, let's not read any more about that. Diplomacy? Situation? Diplomatic pressure. Under pressure. That's Rumsberg putting pressure on us. Whatever. Do I look at the news or do I go home and eat dinner with my family? I guess we'll briefly look at the news. Let's just skim it. Rumors of infrastructure project. I did that. Anonymous sources have reported to Sordland today that several government officials have invited construction companies to meetings regarding a new major infrastructure project. If true, this is great news, as infrastructure in Sordland is lacking. This is the highway program that we've proposed. So apparently our underlings are interviewing companies, are going to bring companies into interview to build the highways. For some reason, the paper hopes that Underhall, it doesn't have to do with the Baganses, wins the bid. I don't know why they care about that. The Economists, Underhall Construction, once again, #1. These guys love Underhall Construction again. It's the #1 construction company of the year. Okay. I don't know why everybody loves this. They encourage people to invest in underhaul construction. I have a feeling we're going to deal with that later. Gang violence claims young girl's life. A 15-year-old girl was shot to death in Narble as she walked her dog a few blocks away from her apartment. The police said the shooting, which occurred in an area affiliated with the Coronelli gang, was a reckless act of violence, and the victim was not the target. A man who witnessed the event told police the shooters yelled gang slogans at him? What's the Coronelli one? Pizza, pizza, pizza! I don't know, what's their native food stuff? What is their we murdered a kid on accident! Let's go yell slogans! It makes me feel better about myself! Nerds! He later saw that the victim had been hit and called the authorities. Our sources report that the local police force of the region is understaffed and overworked. Let's not read any more about that. Let's read about geopolitics. Rungberg closes consulate. Yeah, we know, they closed their consulate in our country. Let's not read about that anymore either. I do have to say, though, the fact that they closed their consulate and it put troops near our border, that is concerning. And the roots of the radical? The real truth behind the economic crisis. We've all seen this scenario play before. Large corporate business? I don't got time for this. I got a wife to go to. And let's see, here's an article about 1927, never again. Let's not give up our freedoms. Yeah, I agree, whatever. I gotta go see my woman. Open City Information? Widespread protests? Oh. Man, I hope, after a long, horrible day, let's just hope we go home, there's no drama, I can put my legs up, read the paper. Well, we already read the paper. We're not going to read the paper. We'll listen to a radio show and just relax at home. After a long day at the palace, I was finally home. I thanked Serge. Thanks, Serge! You the man! And walked through the front gates, nodding at the two guards as I went by. Yo, bros! Even as I turned the doorknob, I could hear Deanna rushing down the stairs to greet me. I opened the door, and there she was, standing in front of me with expectant eyes. Papa, you're home! This is the reason I live, for my lovely little inbred daughter. There's my beautiful princess. Wait, no. I'm just gonna give her a hug. Fuck it, I've had a hard day. Life's shit. I'm just gonna live her? I'm just gonna pick her up and give her a hug. She's gonna have no idea. She has no fucking idea how important her coming to greet me is and how bad of a day we had. This is the stuff that makes life worth living. I lifted Deanna up and hugged her while trying to put my keys in the tray next to the entrance. She was growing fast. Lifting her up was no longer as easy as it was. You're becoming a little fatty. Daddy's a little fatty. How was school, young child? How was your day? Boring. I liked my old school better. Yeah, school sucks! I put her down. Don't tell your mom I said that. Don't tell your mom I said that. I put her down and her expression turned serious. Papa, are the bad men gone? Some of them are dead or arrested. Sure. Yeah, it was only one bad man, Deanna. And yes, he's gone now. He's been taken care of. Okay, Papa. Deanna dashed down the hallway. There goes my bright little weird child. Mama, Papa's here. Monica appeared next to the kitchen door. She was wearing an apron and holding a spatula in her head. Food! We're gonna get food! A home-cooked meal? I haven't had one of those in years. Oh, but I'm sure Anton has. Ew, is my food ready? Deanna, what did I tell you? No running in the house. Let her run where she wants to run. Yes, ma'am, Mama. Monica approached me and kissed me on the cheek. A tantalizing smell wafted from the kitchen behind her. How was your day, dear? You know what? I just want to hear about anyone's day that doesn't involve the protests in this country. Like, I actually want to listen as long as it's not a very long thing. Just tell me anything else that other than what I had to go through. Terrific! I finally got to do some grocery shopping, just like old times, and I'm making your favorite. You mean? Yes, Zabla! Oh my god, I love Zabla! Whatever the fuck that is. Zabla was one of my hometown specialities. A chickpea! Peas! Not the Pea Council! They're back again! They got to my wife! They got to my wife! Was it Dr. Hottie? Oh, Pea Council! A chickpea stew topped with beef braised and tomatoes and Bergian spices, traditionally served in a clay pot. None of that iron cookware for me. A clay pot is the way I eat my meat. It was absolutely my favorite dish, especially paired with kebj, a potent, unfiltered wine from my region. Why, I think I'll enjoy some right now. Sip, sip. Whoa. It's my lucky day. I'm gonna kiss her on the cheek. Why are you licking me? Why is my voice weird? I don't know. I just wanted to cheer everyone up. You know, you are the best wife. I mean, I don't have any other wives. Don't think I have other wives. I'm starting to wonder now. You know I'm just stupid. I know. Wait, what? Her smile faded, and she lowered her voice so that Deanna wouldn't hear. Especially after what happened at the ball. Oh, you mean the murder? Shh. Oh, yeah. I'm worried, Anton, for you, for the children, and for the country. Deanna suddenly appeared next to us. Mama! Yes, sweetheart? I'm hungry! We'll eat in just a minute. Will you help me set the table? Anton, can you tell Frank to come down for dinner? He's been sulking in his room all day. Why don't we just let him sulk? Let him work his emotions out. Whatever. When he gets hungry, he'll be here. Monica started taking out the plates while I headed upstairs to fetch my son. Loud rock and roll music. Yes! Little Richard! Little Richard does exist! This is what we should have had at the ball. Good golly, Miss Molly. She sure likes the bone. Hopefully Frank doesn't open up the door. What are you talking about, Dad? She likes the bone! Don't you get it? Miss Molly likes the bone! Loud rock and roll is a euphemism for sex, too. Dad, you're freaking me out. Loud rock and roll music echoed down the hallway from his room. I caught a faint hint of cigarette smoke. I'm going to knock on the door. The reason I'm going to knock on the door is growing up, I lived with people. Everyone in my house except for me never did that. They would just push the door open. In fact, I put one of those eye hook locks on my door, and they broke it open because of all the times people would just open the fucking door. And so, I am fucking OCD insane about that shit. You fucking knock! You should fucking knock! I got issues! I will knock on the door, politely like a man without issues. I knocked on the door, knocking on heaven's door. There was no response. He got killed by the cigarette smoke! Cartoon All-Stars to the rescue! Where are you? I'm not gonna call it racket. If anything, I said turn it up. I'm gonna knock on the door again. Knock, knock. There was still no response. I'm gonna bang on the door. Open that door, you motherfucker! I'm the motherfucker. I fucked his mom. I bang on the door. The stereo in Frank's room clicked off. All right, Dad. He unlocked and opened the door. What do you want? I was gonna pick this one at first because it said turn those records up louder next time, but then I realized it's sarcasm. I was like, yes, I want to hear that rock and roll. Let me get out my guitar and play. He'll be like, Dad, put your guitar away. But I want to teach you punk. I know it hasn't been invented yet, but your kids are gonna love it. Food's ready, nerd. Great, I'm starving. Frank headed downstairs to the dining room, and I followed after. The table was prepared, and Monica was ladling food onto the plates. I love it when my beef is ladled onto my plate, out of my clay pot. Come on, have a seat. It won't be as tasty if it's cold. As we started eating, the room went quiet. Eating sounds. Monica's cooking was as delicious as ever. I married well. But I had a feeling that wasn't the reason nobody spoke. Oh no. They're traumatized from the murder. Monica was the first to break the silence. So, did you know that they refurbished the grocery store? I didn't know! I'm gonna pretend like I give so many fucks, so long as I don't have to talk about work things in this country. I don't know if you remember the owner. He's been there every day for the past 30 years. Can you imagine doing the same job for so long? What if you were president for 20 years, for example? I don't want that. I don't want this country to suffer under another soul lady. Nah. Agreed, that must never happen again. Whoa, whoa! That was a lady trap! That was a woman trap right there. She doesn't want me to be president forever, and she laid a lady woman trap. Bitches, that ain't fair when you do that shit. That ain't fair when you do that shit. I graced through it, because luckily I had the right thing. She could have just asked how I felt. No, she couldn't ask how I hit. That was a trap. That was a trap. Freak. In real life, I would have called that shit out, too. When I date somebody, I call that shit out. Freak, that is a woman trap. Deanna, do not be like your mom. Don't do that. Just tell your partner how you feel. And Frank, you gotta watch out for that shit. Anyway, no, don't you anyway that. That's what ladies do. Not every lady does that. Like, I'm sure there's some ladies watching. There's like one lady who watches. But there's probably some ladies who are watching who are like, I don't do that. And there's probably some ladies watching who are like, well, maybe. I don't know why you talk like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What was I talking about? Anyway, the grocer is a really nice person. He threw in some extra vegetables with my free vegetables score. Frank suddenly slammed his hands on the table, rattling the plates. Rattled some because I don't have any plates on my table. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared. Monica, Deanna, and I stared at him. So this is what it's gonna be? We're just gonna sit here like nothing happened? Dad, you could have been killed. Mom could have been killed. Any one of us could have killed or been killed and died. Oh! Deanna's lip started trembling. Monica put her hand on Frank's shoulder. Okay, I could tell him nothing will ever happen, even if it cost me my life. That's not going to make him feel better. It's not going to make a kid feel better if their dad is like, you know, I would die and keep you safe. No, they don't want you to die. And I could say, we're still alive. I kind of want to do that. And I could say, you will not raise your voice to a young man, but I don't really give a fuck. I'm going to ask him his opinion. You know what? All day long, he's a teenager in the 1950s. Nobody gives a fuck about him, except for maybe Coca-Cola, or those damn soda fountains that are corrupting the youth. What would you have us do, Frank? What do you think? I don't know. Talk about it, maybe? Frank got up from his seat. All right, Frank. Let's talk about it. Sit down. You want to talk about it? Let's do it. This is your plan. Frank took his seat again, scowling. I'm not going to tell him it's going to be fine. I don't know if I'm going to tell him it's under control. It's not under control. There's protests. There's guns everywhere. Do you think I would let us down so easily, Frank? I don't like that one, but I feel like that's the best one. I don't like any of those choices. Frank smirked. Oh, you little turd! Well done! Yes, stick it to the power! No, I guess not, Dad. But it's not up to you, is it? Oh no, he used my weakness! Logic! Shit! My security assured me that they took all the necessary steps, Frank. It's not just about me. The same security that let a person get shot in front of the palace? He's got a point. He's got a point. Frank, listen to your father. If your father says we don't need to worry, then we need to worry. Or we don't need to worry. You have to trust him. Monica turned to me. We all have to trust each other. Things calmed down a bit at the table. We finished our food in silence. You know what? I'm going to be self-congratulatory, something I don't do very often in games or in real life unless I'm fucking around. I think that's the best we could have done, right? We heard him out, we let him speak his piece, and we treated him like a human being. It doesn't solve the problem, but at least he got to voice the issues he's having. Frank got up first and retreated back to his room. Monica lifted Deanna up and plopped her in front of the living room TV before returning to the table. TV? Oh, I hope the sports game is on. I love the sports game. In fact, I was watching it earlier. She sat down across from me. Anton, he's still young. Yeah, I know, he's a kid. That's part of being a kid. Oh, wait, she's saying we shouldn't tell him that. He's a teenager. What were we as a teenager? We saw a civil war. Trying to protect him is not going to help him. He's not a little kid anymore. That's why I'm going to start with the top one. I'm not going to say I made rash decisions. Sure, I still do. I'm not going to be like, why is he acting out? He's got a reason to have emotions, and, you know, you got a lot of hormones. Hopefully you got a lot of horrors when you're a teenager. You got a lot of hormones, though. Like, that's hard to balance. I know. But there's not much longer we can shield him from the ugliness of the world, Monica. He's not a baby anymore. He's scared, Anton, and frankly, he isn't the only one. I want to tell her, this would be hilarious to be like, all you need to worry about is making dinner, bitch, but I'm not going to do that. Oh, if I promise her she'll be the first to know if there's a threat, that's gonna come back to bite me in the ass, right? Because maybe she won't be. You know, I'm gonna be honest with her. This is my chance to talk about my emotions, right? Too often, especially guys, don't take that option. We often don't get that option, but then we often don't take that option because we're not used to it. I'm gonna be open. I'm gonna admit emotions. Monica, I have emotions that aren't horniness and angriness. Sometimes it's both. Yes, I'm very familiar with your angry horniness. Oh, I worry too, Monica. Things might escalate. In the country. She got up, stood behind me, and massaged my shoulders. Hopefully not my soldiers. Get your hands off my bed! My shoulders for a moment before leaving me alone in the dining room. That's some action. That's the most action I've gotten forever, baby. I scored. I sat alone at the table and drained my glass of Kebj. Jealous much? Had I been lying to Frank and Deanna? Was the threat to my family truly over? I didn't tell them it was over. Time would tell. Dun dun dun. I think that's a perfect place to end this thing. What do we do next time? React to unrest. Ooh. Oh. Yeah. We're gonna pretend everything's. Oh wait, growth. Economic growth is improved. It's still downward, but it's not as down as it was. We're fixing it's success. Success. Best president ever. Best president ever. Let's ignore all the other problems. The economic turnaround has begun. All hail Anton. Catch you maybe next time.